Hello and welcome to episode 39 of the Subject Podcast. I am Chris. Every single week I'm here. Every single week Mike's here as well.
Hello, I am here this week.
Mike is also here.
I am here.
Every week we're here.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday. Doesn't matter what time it comes out. It's every Thursday.
Every Thursday. We are recording this late at night on Thursday.
Came out on Thursday though. It came out on Thursday.
It still came out.
Still counts. Still counts.
You're welcome.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of things still counting.
Are they still counting though?
I mean, they're done counting
I think
by now.
the count's kind of done.
I think the count's
I
done.
think it's finally official.
Yeah, Joe Biden is officially the president of the United States of America, which is a kind of a bittersweet result, I feel.
I mean, Trump still doesn't have to step down yet.
No,
He's still got a couple weeks left.
The 20th of January.
Yeah.
I'm still going to pardon myself and all of my family.
It's hilarious how long he's going to...
and the other three that I can't remember.
He's going to really, really milk this.
Oh, he's going to...
It's crazy. And then I reckon as soon as the date comes around, he's going to be like, you know what? I don't think so. I don't feel like stepping down.
Yeah, I feel like he's just going to do that. Because he did say earlier on that the Secret Service would have to drag him out of the White House kicking and screaming.
Yeah, that was funny. And they totally would too.
Yeah, they would.
It's their job too.
Yeah.
And with all this, like, so last year we had, so many riots. We had the Black Lives Matter riots all through America. A lot of people lost their lives through that. And now, with these riots that are happening now at the White House, we've lost, 4 people now?
4 people today. One woman died from a gunshot
from a police officer. Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. So, I mean, I don't know the situation surrounding that, but I feel like given the American cops' track record, I don't think that's a warranted thing.
Well,
I don't know. I don't want to judge too early before things come out. Reportedly,
there was a moment when the rioters broke through the house windows and doors at the chamber. That's when they all started drawing their guns on them, like all the security and police officers. And there are photos, and like the links will be down in the description, of them literally like maybe a meter away with their guns pointed directly at the face of the rioters. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, they're coming out with force, and I don't think it's going to scare people, especially Trump supporters.
No.
Because they're very confident that the Trump administration won't kill its own supporters.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting to see. I saw a video also where there's been a lot of people referencing all the Black Lives Matter riots and the fact that, black people in America can't even, drive their car without being thought of maybe getting shot just because, people think that their car was stolen or something. And there is a video of police literally opening the fence line, letting the rioters in.
Yeah, I thought I saw something about that in my Facebook feed, and I skipped over it because I thought it was fake, because I thought surely they're not going to be that fucking hypocritical as to shoot up African American citizens and yet let these racist cunts into Washington DC when there's a clear barricade that they have to maintain.
Yeah,
that is part of their job, and they're not doing their job. You're fired. Fuck off.
It's and then it kind of makes you think that, are these people, like the cops anyway, they're Trump supporters that have let all these rioters in because they're like, you know what, fuck it, let's go.
There would be. I reckon there would be Trump supporters. Which is shit, because you can't, when you have a job like that, you can't let your political or ethical views get in the way of you doing that job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's your government given job. You're a police officer, you're supposed to work for the people, and you're not supposed to let religion or, political views get in the way. Yeah. It's the same with, that's why I think people who are in positions of government power, like, the PMs and all the ministers, Congress in the US, they shouldn't have religious beliefs in a way, because that then corrupts them in ways of thinking, no, you know what, this goes against my beliefs, so you know what, fuck everyone, I say no.
Yeah.
It was like even with all the gay marriage that was trying to be passed, they wouldn't pass it until they put it to a vote here in Australia for the people, and the people voted, agreed.
They did I think it was a plebiscite.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much unanimous that everyone was like, just legalize gay marriage. And like, then they made such a massive fuss about it in the newspapers because, you know, Rupert Murdoch can't keep his pants on and likes to fuck us all.
Yeah, literally. Like, literally, he comes to your house, like, you get, he pulls your name out of a hat, and then your address is on there. He just shows up and will absolutely fuck you.
He shows up to your front door butt naked.
Yeah, and he's like, all right.
You ready to go?
Is this you? Is this your name? Yeah? All right, let's go. I don't care where. Kitchen, bedroom, lounge room, don't care. Let's go.
It's your time. It's like jury duty.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's got to do it.
You got a letter. you gotta show up.
Maddox got to come around to your house.
And you get paid for it too.
Like, I don't even think I would even if I got paid.
No. It
I don't think
pay
there's
me enough
money in the world.
Oh, he's probably got enough. I don't know.
I mean, if he gave me his entire fortune, maybe I would.
Like, everything he owns, all of his collateral, everything.
Every single asset, stock. I want every single fucking publishment.
I mean, if you're good enough, you've got 10 seconds, done, then you're set for the life. Well, actually, talking about money, quickly off topic, did you see that Elon Musk is soon to pass Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, yeah.
Really?
He's soon to pass him, yeah.
Wow.
Because his stock's set to rise again by like another $50 billion in the next couple months.
Of course.
How insane is that?
Going above and beyond, and SpaceX as well.
Yeah, so it's his whole, it's his array of satellites that's giving him the investments.
Yeah, of course it would be.
That was it, Archangel or something?
Yeah.
The Angel Network.
That would be obviously why. But that's really
that's
cool.
Pretty crazy, right?
That's awesome. And
anyway,
we actually know that Elon Musk is going to put that money to somewhat of good use.
Yeah, did you see that he
sits on his fortune like a fucking dragon?
Elon Musk has sold all of his properties that he owns. He sold all of his properties that he owns, and he now has stated that he does not want to own a house.
So he's just going to be homeless then?
He'll probably rent or live at SpaceX or something, but he wants to live by not owning any houses.
I mean, that's
so he owned 3 properties at the Bel Air area.
The Bel Air region, which is in California, I believe.
And he sold, I think, like, joined was over like several $100 million, all of his properties. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, well, compared to his actual net worth, it's nothing.
It's like a drop in the bucket.
It's literally. He probably wouldn't even notice it gone.
Couple $100 million. Whatever.
I've got a couple $100 billion. What up? Who cares? But so getting back to the riots that's happening in America now. What was it? There was I read that so now Virginia is sending 200 state troopers and mobilizing a unit of guard to basically stop the rioting now. So the actual, the armed guard are coming in, the military are going to step in now and hold back the riots. You know what happened last time they did that with the Black Lives Matter movement?
Yeah, people died.
Yeah.
And then lots of things got set on fire.
Yeah.
The military didn't diffuse the situation because nobody is trained to diffuse situations in America.
No.
They're all trained to pull their fucking guns on them every single time that there's conflict.
I think there was, last time we were talking about the riots, I said that I was watching this training video about police from different regions around the world, and they had a guy with a machete. Like, obviously he's not an actual assailant, but he's pretending to be an assailant, and they were tasked to disarm him without hurting him or anything like that. And the Australian police force, they subdued him without harming him, didn't draw any of their firearms. And there was a American chief, and he said that they would have literally just shot him on the spot. They wouldn't have tried to reason with him. They wouldn't have done anything. They would just shot him. And it's like, that makes no sense.
That shows you that the justice system in the US is completely broken, and it needs to change. Because if somebody is wielding a knife in Australia, that is obviously a very dangerous individual. But like the police are trained to diffuse the situation. That's what your job is literally to do.
Wasn't there a guy only a few months ago that went through a shopping centre here in Australia with a machete? I think he stabbed like 3 people, or he had a knife or something. He stabbed a few people.
Down in Melbourne somewhere, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting shot, but he got shot, I think it was...
He got shot because he charged the police officers.
Well, they shot him a few times. It was the first, I think, a few times was just to wound him, to like stop him. Yeah, it was like and then in the end, it became a fatal wound, and he died from it.
And there was a serious inquiry into that, because every single time somebody in Australia gets shot by police, there is an inquiry and a whole...
Yeah, it's a whole crazy investigation that goes into it, whether it was necessary or not.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's assessed and assessed and assessed and judged and judged and judged. Yeah. It goes through so much processing that it is actually an impartial result, because so many people look at the exact same thing and make a decision on that.
Exactly. And I mean, sure, if they're on top of you with a machete, fucking pull that trigger, go for it. You know, if you really think that you can't get out of it alive, fair enough. But I think some people kind of just, I don't know, especially in America with their police, they kind of just think, this guy looks a bit dangerous.
It's just a reflex thing. Yeah. 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 I think it's a reflex thing, but it's also what they're trained to do. They're not, they're trained the wrong way. And I think we talked about this last time. We were talking about gun violence or the Black Lives Matter protests or something like that. But there's thousands of hours in firearms and tactical training for police officers, but there's maybe 100 hours in conflict resolution training. Yeah. Which is insane.
I feel like, I mean, if you can talk someone out of it, or doing whatever it is that they're doing, you don't need weapons. Like, you know, in Japan, even a lot of their police officers don't carry guns. Yeah. You know, it's no one in Japan are pretty much allowed guns. Their police, yes, but it's you've got to be like a little bit higher, like just normal street walking police officers. When I was there anyway, I just noticed they had like batons and stuff like that. You know, they just beat the shit out of you. Yeah. You know,
I mean, like those batons still hurt.
That fucking hurts. You know what I mean? And in Japan, it's hard to get weapons. You know, it is really hard. Even, you know, you can go to the black market anywhere and I guess get a weapon, but in Japan it is hard, and in Australia it's hard too. But you know, here we're allowed.
It's easier in Australia.
It is easier.
You can get a hunting permit, and then that certifies you to carry. I think it's up to a 308.
You're not allowed handguns in Australia.
Yeah, you're not allowed concealable firearms.
Yeah, you can't conceal. Yeah, no. I think you know, there are different permits. You can get like air rifle permits, but you have to have a range license. You have to be a member of a range. Yeah, you know, you literally have to go through step by step before you can even get to that gun.
Yeah, and you have to actually go to that firing range as well on a regular basis.
Yeah, exactly.
So that you have the proper training necessary, and you are up to speed with your skills.
Yeah.
With using that firearm.
I know like a family of mine way out in Warwick, which is, you know, kind of out whoop area, Queensland.
Near the Queensland, New South Wales border, but like way out west.
Yeah. And they have a lot of, like, they have a huge property, hundreds of acres, right? They have rifles, well, a rifle, which is only because they have wild dogs and boars on their property, which they have to protect their own cattle and their horses and all that from.
Obviously.
So they're able to get that permit, but they're not allowed to take that weapon off their property. It has to be in a safe at all times, under lock and key. Like, pretty much no one is allowed to know the combination of that safe except for the person that owns it.
Has the permit.
Yeah. It's, you know, very strict there.
And it's all from one mass shooting in Port Arthur in the 90s.
Yeah.
And John Howard, our Prime Minister back then, just said, no, that's it. No more guns for anybody.
Give me all the guns.
This guy ruined it.
And fair enough. I mean, it's...
We haven't had a mass shooting since.
Exactly.
I mean, the law works.
It does work. Like, it does. And, you know, if America were to take all their guns away, I don't know, I've mentioned this before, like, I feel like we should all have the right to protect ourselves from government oppression, you know, from the government saying, all right, we're going to take, you know, military control, and the people are like, nani. And, you know, we can't stop that. You know, if here in Australia, if the government did want to take martial law, there's nothing we can do. In America, they have more of a chance to stop their government from taking martial law. And you see that, especially the riots now, you know, when the military come in with their guns, the people just, all right, well, I'll bring my guns, and then it's,
I shall also bring my guns. And some of my guns are bigger than your guns. So therefore I win because I have bigger guns.
And then the military bring in the tanks. Yeah. Roll in the tanks.
And I think it's just going to keep going like that until it's just going to be one giant dick measuring contest.
But at the same time, the Black Lives Matter riots, it escalated, but then it just fizzled out.
Died.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's still, in that sense, the rioting fizzled out, but the movement itself is still a big thing, and like the implications behind it is still a big thing.
Yeah.
But the rioting itself, the violence fizzled out.
Yeah.
Which I believe is a good thing because,
definitely.
It got to a point where people were literally just dying every day.
Yeah, it was getting to be...
Public property was being demolished, people's houses, their businesses were being looted, destroyed. And, I saw videos of, black families and, their houses being destroyed, their businesses being destroyed. And they're like, what is this movement? Why?
We are African American. Why are you trying to destroy our properties?
Yeah.
And I think that's because the Black Lives Matter riots, and I'll put that in air quotes because I don't really think that those people were... The people that went to the length of property destruction, I don't think were part of the real Black Lives Matter movement. They were just in it for the violence.
It's like Antifa. The extremities of the left wing, in America anyway, say left wing being, well, I guess, what would you call them? They're not conservatives, they're
progressive.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like super progressive.
Antifa are like insanely violent.
Yeah.
I've seen so much about them. It's crazy, and I feel like a lot of them think that it's for the better or the progressive side or whatever, but it's not. It's literally just them picking fights, breaking shit because they think, oh, I'm part of this big movement and I can do what I want.
It's just, it's just fucked.
So with these riots now, you see these Black Lives Matter posts coming up saying, black people riot, we get shot. White people riot, they open the doors for you.
Yeah, well, that's literally
literally what happened.
Yeah.
At the same time, I will still say that, like what I mentioned before, that once they did start breaking through those doors, guns were pulled on them, and a woman was shot.
Yeah. So someone has died.
But
to be fair, it's not as many people that have died in the Black Lives Matter movement.
Well, it's been 8 hours.
It's been 8 hours.
It hasn't been
not really fair to judge that.
But at the same time, until Trump finally steps out, which I feel after this he should, like tomorrow, he should just walk out.
Step down.
He should just walk out and be like, look, this is my presidency is causing this. I should just back out.
The surprising thing is that Donald Trump still thinks he's doing a good job, because there's a quote here from Mr. Donald Trump, and forgive me, but I'm going to try and relay it in a... oh, man, it's just... Man, he's such an idiot. I'm just going to try and relay it in as plain a terms as possible, right? So, here we go. Mr. Donald Trump said, "Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be an orderly transition on January 20th. I have always said we will continue our fight to ensure that only legal votes were counted. While this represents the end of the greatest first term in presidential history, it's only the beginning of our fight to make America great again." I'm just going to go ahead and say, the greatest first term in history? Like, serious, bro?
Yeah, right.
That's not true at all. And the last couple of months, he's been just lying through his teeth. So there's nothing... Like, he has lost all of his credibility.
Yeah, especially with these riots now.
Yeah, because he was... his Twitter account has been taken down.
Yeah, because he was impersonating the president or something when he's not.
No. He said it was something about false and misleading stuff that he posted on Twitter about the election. So saying, "Oh, we won by lots, and it was a landslide victory for the Republicans," and like when it's obviously not, because Joe Biden has 306 electoral college votes, and Donald Trump has 232. So I think it's a very clear and decisive win for Joe Biden. And Donald Trump's just acting like a little baby, and he's in denial. And he had tweeted saying, "We love you," to the rioters. "We love you. Go home in peace." And he described them as being very special. Yeah, they are special, being retarded. Go home, you idiots.
Dead set.
Oh my God! You don't like the result of the presidential election? We didn't like it 4 years ago either. And yet you don't see massive violent riots through the capital of America.
Here in Australia, with our bushfires, what do we do to our Prime Minister? We told him to fuck off.
Yeah, we told him to fuck off.
we literally told him to fuck off.
And you know what he did? He fucked off to Hawaii for a holiday.
Yeah, right? He should have just fucked off.
He should have just stayed fucked off.
Like, he should have just, like, as soon as we were like, oh yeah, he's in Hawaii, okay, just stay there now forever.
Yeah, just stay there. We don't want you
back. Don't come back. We don't want you back here.
Get out of here.
Fucking hell, ScoMo.
Scott Morrison and Donald Trump are like best mates.
Yeah, no shit. One idiot can tell another idiot from across the room. Let's be real here.
Hey man, we're the same. We're both stupid. Yeah. We can't lead countries.
We are both going to fuck our countries. Fist bump. Let's just don't look at me in the eyes, man, because then it's gay.
No homo. No homo. No homo.
Yeah, dead set. It's absolutely
It just does my head in every time that, like, you see people going on about facts don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings, and they're the one that gets upset by the next election results. It's like, okay, facts don't care about your feelings, dickhead.
Yeah, straight up.
Sit down.
Fucking conservatives.
This is how democracy works. You don't like it? Too bad.
Yeah.
Move to Russia.
No. Don't go to Russia.
No, go to Russia. Fuck off to Russia.
No, Putin won't have you there.
No, he won't. He'll have you executed. Go to Russia. Please.
Go to North Korea.
Oh, yes. Please go to North Korea. I'm sure they'd love to have Westerners in North Korea.
You probably can't even get into North Korea. You have to tunnel into North Korea.
like airdropped in.
Yeah.
Just absolutely rooted. This is coming off of the back. These big riots are coming off the back of the Georgia runoff elections, which saw John Ossoff and Raphael, and I've forgotten his last name. I'm so sorry. Raphael Warnock have both won their seats, and they are the first two Democrats to win U.S. Senate seats in Georgia in the last 20 years, which is pretty cool. And John Ossoff is the youngest serving member of the Senate at 33 years old, which I think is pretty cool.
That's pretty good, man. Like,
good.
33 is a good little age to get into Senate. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. And it means that he actually knows somewhat what young people are going through.
Yeah.
He's more familiar with that.
I mean, it's definitely that, you see that a lot of people in Parliament are old white men, mostly.
Yes.
And they know nothing of what it's like to be roughly 30 or under these days.
They're not only old white men, they're old, rich white men.
Old, rich, religious white men.
Yes. We can keep adding... keep adding qualifications.
Rich, religious, racist old men.
There you go. All the R's.
Old, rich.
Old, rich, religious, racist, fascist.
Ooh. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, but congratulations to John and Raphael. You guys did obviously some pretty good work. If you want to look at any of the articles that we're quoting from today, they'll all be in the description down below. While you're down there, you got to hit that subscribe button.
Smack it like you smack your children when they're crying in the supermarket. Or wait, no, is it that's count to three? Count to three, and then on three, smack it like you would smack your child in the supermarket.
I'm going to give you to the count of three.
One day I'll get to three. And I'm
1.5.
I'm going to smack you up. I'm going to smack you right upside your face.
Definitely. Moving on from politics, as we love talking about politics here, but there's other things we like talking about.
We're talking about random shit too.
We like talking about random shit. Mike,
So,
you found some random shit.
This is
before.
some random shit.
What's your random shit for today?
My random shit for today. So when I say mummification, what do you think?
I immediately think pyramids, hieroglyphs, and a guy wrapped up in bandages / silk.
Yeah. When I think mummy, I think Brendan Fraser. I think.
Yes. What an excellent movie. Oh my God.
Oh, yes. I missed that man.
That man was
come back to us.
Gem. An absolute gem.
So I found an interesting article on self-mummification that Buddhist monks in the 11th to the 19th century in Japan used to undergo. Self-mummification.
Self-mummification.
Yeah, it's a religious practice. It's no... Okay, here we go. I'm going to give this a go. You ready? So, Soku Yushin Butsu. No, not bad. Yeah.
No, that sounds about right. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know
that's
the word,
what it's called.
Yeah. That's what it's called. Any Japanese speakers might be offended by by your pronunciation.
So
we're
it's
sorry. We're sorry.
It's a extreme process. It's pretty extreme to self-mummify yourself.
Well, yeah, it's got to be a commitment right there.
So the monks who attempted it viewed it as a way to achieve further enlightenment.
Okay. Was that like a way of them signing off on that life, and then they can move on in their reincarnation? Would be maybe a better chance of getting a better life in the next life, or was that?
Well, it was a way. Well, enlightenment is a way so they, through the process, they become more spiritually enlightened to the point until they die, and then
they get to go to Shangri-La.
Well, it's not so much that they get to go there; it's more a way of being closer to their God through the process. So self-mummification. It's not that easy, which you might think. But so what they do is they deprive themselves of food and then eventually entomb themselves while they are still breathing.
Oh, is this like the guy that there was like a Buddhist monk that was found in a statue some time ago? I read about it somewhere, but he was like from that time period. So he must have self-mummified himself and then sat in the statue while the other monks obviously finished the statue around him.
Yeah, maybe. That would be cool.
Like, it would be cool. He's also the world champion in hide and seek.
Got you.
It's been 600 years.
There you are, Ching Lang. This motherfucker.
This guy. Come on. Best hide and seek player ever right here.
So, well, interestingly enough, it's been banned in Japan, but some of these Japanese mummy monks still survive today.
Can I ask why it's banned in Japan? Like, if it's... my understanding of Japan is, while it's still quite an imperialistic country, it's more or less a democratically run country, so surely people would be able to do what they want. Well,
it's very cultural and spiritual there, but I believe that they've probably banned it just because of the process itself, and, you know, in the end, I guess... But you know, in Egypt, they don't mummify people anymore. They don't, you know, scoop out your brains and all that. I mean,
to be fair, when the Egyptians mummified people, it was like 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, well, this is from like the 11th century, you know, as well.
Like 900 years ago.
Still a long time
ago. It still sounds to me like a conscious decision that the person's making to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they should be able to make that choice themselves, like if they want to.
So the I don't know, maybe it was just too brutal of a thing to let people do to themselves, you know, like here, you know, you can't, I mean, you're not really allowed to commit suicide. It's illegal to commit suicide, and that's essentially what they're doing.
Euthanasia still isn't legal here, so I guess so it sort of falls
that's
under
probably
a similar category.
What it would fall under.
Yeah,
so Soku Shinbutsu.
Ooh, you're getting better at that.
Yeah, thank you. Has been banned in Japan, yeah. So, but some of these Japanese monks still survive today, like I said. So the Dainichi temple mummies on display give an eerie window into the sacred ritual. So you can actually go see these monks.
Are they still in that temple?
Yeah, they're preserved. Yep.
So they're just on display and they're preserved. Look at these guys that reached enlightenment.
Yeah, so it's a 3,000-day process. It takes 3,000 days.
3,000 days? That's like 10 years, man.
So the preparation period is necessary for a monk to transform his body into a lasting relic. And the most important physical aspect of the process focuses on the diet. So the Japanese monks attempting to achieve self-mummification would first stop consuming grains and cereals. For the first 1,000 days, they would only eat nuts and berries.
For the first 1,000 days?
For the first 1,000 days, they would only eat nuts and berries.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is some commitment, because I don't think I could go 1,000 days with like just eating nuts and berries. I would get bored.
Yeah, so what they would do, so the diet is called Mokuyu Jinkyo, which is known as tree eating.
I mean, yeah.
So this is the next diet that they would do. So it's called for the next 1,000 days, monks would solely consume things like pine needles, tree bark, and resin.
Okay, that sounds not edible.
Yeah,
like at all.
So apparently, some X-rays of these mummies have revealed river stones within the stomachs. So these guys are eating fucking stones as well.
What?
Yeah,
dude, these guys are committed.
So after 2,000 days of these diets, the monks' bodies have already begun to basically undergo... So they're just wasting away. They undergo extreme starvation and dehydration.
Well, I mean, if they're only consuming, tree resin, bark, and pine needles, I feel like that's going to starve you of some of your nutrients.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon they'd probably get the smallest amount of water from their berries and all that kind of stuff that they would eat.
What, so they wouldn't even drink water?
Nope.
Wow.
So the extended period of starvation fulfilled the quote-unquote necessary requirement of suffering and also solidified the basis of mummification. As the monk starved, his body rid itself of fat and water, both materials that encourage decay after death. So, in short, starvation made the monks' bodies resistant to bacteria and insects.
So basically, like turning themselves into beef jerky when they're still alive.
Pretty much. They basically just stopped drinking. They stopped eating protein, fats, nothing. They just were wasting away into nothing but flesh and bone.
I mean, I feel like... I know you said
2,000 days.
Yeah, I know you said it connotes like the necessary suffering needed to reach enlightenment. But
that must be painful. You wouldn't be able to walk. You'd literally just be sitting there.
You'd be bedridden, and people just forcing pine needles down your throat. Like, have a go at these. Fucking.
Couldn't find a pine needle. Here's a river stone.
Yeah. Here's some bark to fucking wash it down with.
Yeah, right?
Fuck you.
So while undergoing starvation, it was common for monks to ingest toxic nuts and herbs to inhibit the growth of bacteria in their bodies. So the popular drink was tea made from the bark of the Urushi tree, also known as Japanese varnish tree. The sap from the tree contains abrasive chemicals that can cause a rash, much like poison ivy. And they drunk that shit.
Oof. Would that cause a rash on the inside of your throat then?
I feel like you'd be itchy and burning all through your body. But at the same time, you probably wouldn't feel much.
That's the only liquid you're allowed to consume as well.
Pretty much.
It's
poison. It's basically poison.
No, thank you.
Not only are we going to starve you of everything, you can drink some poison.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Not only do you not have the required nutrients for a human being to live, but here's some poison for you to drink. So by the way, this is the only drink you're allowed to drink.
Apparently the tea hastened the monk's death while helping to preserve his body from the inside out.
No shit, it hastened it along. Fucking hell.
Oh, fuck, it gets worse, dude.
I feel like drinking poison would hasten along anyone's
They're
death.
about to drink worse than that.
God. So what happens for the last?
So many monks who attempted self-mummification underwent a process near Denichibu. A nearby spring was discovered to contain high levels of arsenic.
Oh God.
Yeah. So like the tea, this arsenic water probably hastened their deaths while preventing decay. So the most famous Soka Yoshinbutsu monk, Shinyo Okai Shonin, is seated on Mount Yudono in the Danachibu temple, and he's you'll see this in the description. There are photos of these mummies. Check this guy out. This guy's been drinking arsenic water. He's fucked. I mean, he's a mummy, he's dead, but still.
Jeez, I was going to say, if you tell me this guy is still alive, I would find it very hard to believe, but Jesus Christ.
But the mummification, right? He's preserved like a motherfucker.
How long ago did he die?
I don't know. It doesn't say here.
Doesn't say? Okay.
Within the last several hundred years, I would say.
Within the last 900 years. Wow.
So they would
Captain Science.
So after all this starvation and meditation, the monks would retire to a small tomb or chamber, not much bigger than their own bodies. The monks would typically end up about 10 feet below the ground, seated in the lotus position. The coffin would be covered with charcoal, and a bamboo rod was inserted to allow the monk to breathe. So they would sit in this tomb alive, just wasting away.
Essentially, they've just been buried alive.
Yeah.
And all they have is air. And you just got to... by the way, you got to reach enlightenment down there.
So the monk would continue to meditate, ringing a bell to signify to the others that he was still alive. Once the ringing ceased, it was assumed that the monk had died. The tomb would be sealed, and the corpse would be left underground for another 1,000 days.
Jesus.
Okay. So after 1,000 days, the monks' bodies would be excavated. Frequently, the body would be found rotting. In these instances, a monk's remains would not be fit for worship. The remains would be reburied after exorcism, and the thousands of days of suffering and meditation would have been for nothing. So if they pulled the body up and he was like rotting away, or bones or whatever, then it was for nothing. They would just put him back in, and that was it. If the body didn't show any signs of decay, incense smoke would be used to treat the skin and ensure its longevity.
Right.
So they would then treat the bodies of the monks. Oh my God, this next photo. Dude, look at this.
Oh my fucking...
Right?
Jesus Christ. That is...
Your boy's preserved.
Dude,
they did a good... This guy did a good job.
I can still see his eyebrows.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
He is not bad.
That is well preserved.
Jesus.
But like, good Lord. The amount of suffering that these men must have gone through.
2,000 days of just starving and drinking poison. Fuck that.
Not only are you drinking poisonous tea, but there's a spring just down the road.
Yeah, he's got some arsenic in there if you want some.
that's going to help you along the way.
We'll throw you in. Have a drink.
Yeah. Have a bath. Have a drink. See what you reckon.
So if a body was found preserved after being exhumed from the burial chamber, it would be worshipped. Mummified monks were seen as Buddhas. So they were seen as like gods essentially. So they would be dressed in robes and placed in temples for viewing. Their eyes would be removed, but regardless, it is believed that the Soko Yoshinbutsu mummies can see into the souls of the living. So they would take out their eyes, but they could still see into your soul. That's freaky.
See your soul. Imagine one of those guys getting up in the middle of the...
You just walk in and just wakes up and goes, this guy. You're like, shit, run. No, I've seen this movie.
Get out while you still can.
So the monks who attempted self-mummification did not consider their deaths to be suicide. They practiced the Soko Yoshinbutsu in order to bring salvation to humankind, believing that it would be able to protect people as long as their mummified bodies tied them to earth. So it's a way to help people, in a way. And through their beliefs.
I mean, it's a noble belief, and it's a noble thing to do something like that for. But, bruh, you got to reconsider your priorities if you're doing that kind of shit.
Right.
I feel like... I mean, me personally, I don't think I would do that. Obviously, I
don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I think I have
the mental ability to do that.
I don't think I have the mental discipline to do that for 3,000 days. Sorry, for 2,000 days.
2,000 days.
Eating poison.
Yeah.
And then for the next, I don't know, few days, you're sealed in a tomb underground.
Yeah. Until you die, essentially. Yeah. And then... hopefully in the next 900 or so days they go, oh yeah, he's pretty good, or they go, nah. And then shit, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. After 2,000 days of torturing yourself, and more, and it could all be for nothing. All that suffering, all that pain potentially for Jackal, which is heartbreaking.
There's all right, so this is the guy that started it all. So in the 9th century, the Japanese monk Kyokai, also known as Kobodayashi, and his followers practiced Shogyandu, which is the practice of discipline in order to obtain spiritual power. So he went through a period of deep meditation near to the end of his life. He denied all food and water and eventually died. His tomb was opened well after his death, and he was found in a lifelike state, his condition supposedly resembling sleep. Since the discovery, the process of Sokuyu Shinbutsu developed and evolved to be the practice of many in the Shingon sector. So it's because they found this guy who basically mummified himself, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna give that a go.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That looks like fun. Let's try that. See how that goes for us.
So, of the hundreds of monks who believed to have attempted this, only 28 are known to have succeeded. Wow. While not all of these self-mummified monks are on public display, many can be visited in various Japanese temples.
Did you see any when you went over?
I don't think so. I don't think I remember seeing any.
No shriveled old men sitting in a corner.
I mean, there were a few, but
no, the ones that are not breathing. Okay?
I couldn't tell from a distance. Yeah, they looked like they were dead.
I mean, ones that are grey from a. Oh wait, no, that's still just old people.
So Emperor Meiji made self-mummification illegal in Japan in 1877. He also prohibited opening tombs of monks who attempted it, unless the monk had entered the tomb where they had entered before the law was passed. So if they were already in the tomb before the law passed, it was okay. Yeah. At the time, a monk named Tetsuyori Yokai had already spent years preparing for Sokuyu Shinbutsu. Despite the law, he sealed himself in a tomb in 1878 and eventually became one of the last known successful mummies. Other monks who had been preparing for self-mummification eventually ceased their attempts after dying of natural causes. They were cremated and honored in temples anyway.
I mean, they're dying of natural causes. They're already dying.
I mean, die. So you mean he just went to sleep and didn't wake up?
Yeah. I mean, ingesting poison for the last couple of years, I mean, kind of does that to you.
Yeah.
Kind of kills you, you die after drinking poison. Kind of what happens,
How interesting is that, though?
That is very interesting.
That was, there are lots of cultures out there where, mummification was a thing, and it was a way of preserving spiritually, like high spiritual people and, blessing, through their religion. And I just couldn't imagine being one of those people that would put themselves into that. You'd really have to believe, you'd be like, this has got to be real, man. Like, I'm going to do this 2,000 days.
Yeah.
Like
you really have to be committed.
Yeah.
To want to, like, attempt that. Like, holy shit, man. That's some commitment.
And, I mean, old mate was a trendsetter, to be honest. 900-year-old trendsetter.
I bet you he was going into his tomb going, what's the bet that dickheads hundreds of years from now will be trying this?
I'm going to prank these guys.
Pranked? You don't even get enlightenment from this.
I got enlightenment, though.
Got him.
Other guys who, attempted it and then just died through natural causes, they were like, all right, we're going to cremate them and we'll worship them anyway. Yeah. The people who didn't succeed, they're like, what the fuck?
Garbage.
Excuse me?
These guys are just looking down.
This guy just died. He didn't even get tombed, and you're going to worship him.
This guy didn't even make it into the tomb, and you're worshiping him.
This guy was only 1,500 days in. He'd only drunk the poison once.
Weak.
I drank that tea every day, man.
Yeah.
I was committed.
I was proper hardcore before it was cool. There's like mummification hipsters. I was in mummification before
Japanese
it was cool.
mummification.
That's really interesting.
Maybe it's kind of like how the Egyptians were like, I'm gonna mummify this guy, but I'm gonna need all you guys to help me. But in Japan's like, nah, bro, I got this. I'm gonna do it myself.
I got this. I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah, I don't need you. I'm gonna do this myself.
I might need you to make me a tomb though, just in case.
Yeah, you just need to dig a hole?
Yeah.
Get me some bamboo, maybe some tea. some nuts. That's cool.
Done.
When I can't walk, can you wipe my bum? It's cool.
when I can no longer lift myself up out of bed, you're gonna have to feed me.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Hey.
Yeah, I find that really interesting.
And then you've got like, were they like the shrunken heads of South America, wasn't it? Or isn't it
the Caribbean?
Is it Caribbean?
I think it was Cuba or something.
Yeah, how they were like,
or Latin America.
I guess that's a way of mummification, preserving people.
Yeah, they'd take the I think they take the skin off the skull, and then dehydrate that around something, and then the skin would shrink around that object, and then it would be shrunken head.
Freaky, right?
Very freaky. It's a weird thing to do.
It's odd how, you see so many cultural things around the world where they wouldn't have had any connection, and yet there are similarities.
So similar. The thing, one thing that immediately springs to mind is the symbol of the yin yang. Yes. So obviously everybody knows what the yin yang symbol is. It's white and black, the good in the bad, and the bad in the good. And you combine them all, you get one whole piece. That symbol was actually found on a Roman shield from like 2,000 years prior to when the sort of ideology of the yin yang was conceived in Asia. And the Romans never went to Asia.
Yeah, well, wasn't there before like the first UN meeting, there were two countries with the exact same flag?
I think I do.
There was something like that. There were two countries with the same flag. They'd never seen each other's flags before, never knew about it, and then once they all got together, they're like hold up. This guy.
Wait a second.
Wait, when did you invent that flag?
It's like the meme of Spider-Man pointing at himself.
Yeah, exactly. Where did you come with that? 1600. Oh, well, we came up with it at 1599.
We did 1598.
That's our flag.
I was just being it was just an approximation.
What day was it? July. We did it in June.
So yeah, I can imagine just those two country leaders just going head to head and just trying to one up themselves.
Yeah, dead sad. I think that would be funny.
That would be funny.
Wait, let me see if I can find the two countries that had the same flag.
I feel like there might be like a country, like maybe they're like two countries from opposite sides of the world, but like equally underdeveloped sides of the world. I feel like that's probably what it is.
Where was it? It was. Yeah, they both had a blue, yellow, and red flag, and the stripes were vertical. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But apparently the shades of the colors were slightly different, but they were pretty much the same flag.
Right.
Here we go. It was they found out at the Olympic Games in 1936.
Oh, well, I mean, in the 30s, that's all right. If they found it back then, that's fine.
That's pretty funny.
That's almost 100 years ago now.
Yeah, almost, hey.
Yeah, we're approaching. 2021 is
Can't wait for the Tokyo Olympic Games. I was pretty sad when they got postponed. Because when I went to Japan, they had all the merch everywhere. They were getting ready for these games, and all the people in Japan were so excited for the games. And then Corona hit, and boom, it was gone.
More Olympic Games.
No, they had to postpone it a year.
Sorry, boys.
But I've got some merch now. 2020 Olympic Games. Never happened. You want to buy it?
Yeah.
$20,000.
Yeah, if you want to buy it, the links to the eBay. No,
I'll sign it. $50,000.
If you sign it, $3. It's not worth anything now. You have to pay for shipping.
It's kind of sad that it didn't end up happening, but
still. I mean, but it was for the health and safety of everybody involved.
But I feel like the whole country kind of felt like there's got a kick in the balls from that.
Yeah. Obviously, I can imagine that would be hurtful.
And the amount of money that they were putting into prepping for it, honestly, would have just been thrown out the window if they didn't keep doing it this year.
Mostly, yeah.
And that what they do the Olympic Games is every 4 years. So does that mean?
That means that the next one's going to be 2025.
You reckon? Or do you think they'll put it in 2024?
See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right?
I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see what the Olympic Commission would say about that. Because if they're like going...
Because now it's been 5 years since...
Yeah, technically it's now been 5 years. So what do?
Maybe they'll just be like, now it's every 5 years. We'll just do another one next year again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's hard to pick sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially with...
I'm excited for it, though.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait for things to get sort of back to normal with the world.
Did you see that? What was it? There's been some new sports, quote unquote sports, that have been added to the Olympics.
I think I saw this. I can't remember what sports they were, but I remember them being ridiculous.
Yeah, some of them are pretty funny.
I know competitive breakdancing is now going to be an Olympic sport. It's because it's a lot like gymnastics. So
yeah.
It's like a floor routine and gymnastics, only in a smaller space.
So, let's see. So, in addition to the 28 sports on the Olympic program, 5 additional sports have been added at the request of the Tokyo 2020 organizing committee.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, karate has been added.
Oh, well, fair
skateboarding.
enough. Skateboarding? Okay.
Yep. Surfing, sport climbing, baseball/softball have been added.
I mean,
karate would be fucking sick to see.
Yeah. Can you imagine like
just
world leaders,
like
in
world
karate
champions around the world coming together to fight each other karate? That would be
amazing.
That would be sick.
It would be awesome.
Skateboarding too. Skateboarding is an Olympic
sweet.
sport now, dude.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That would be pretty sweet. I can imagine like everybody from the pro circuit just going into the Olympic circuit and just being like, hey, by the way, we can shred this hard all the time.
I really hope Tony Hawk does not do it.
No, he won't, because he's 50-something, man. He's not competing.
Dude can still fucking drop some sick fucking tricks, man.
Dude can drop some hella fresh tricks, but I don't think he'd be competing, because there'd be other people out there.
Yeah,
that would be
definitely
doing like a similar thing to Tony Hawk back in his day, but now. So they just get them in.
I remember there was one skateboarder I used to follow a lot. He was a street boarder. I can't remember his name now. Ugh.
Of course,
because
when you go to mention him.
It's been years, man.
Years since I curved up the vert.
Someone stole my skateboard. Not even joking.
Real heartbreak, because I know that's true.
Did.
Someone dead set from our front door as well.
Literally.
Like right at our front door.
Guys, do not leave your skateboards outside. Bring them inside.
I was heartbroken for you, man.
That's so sad.
That's
I've had that skateboard for years.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, enough about my problems.
Enough about Mike's missing skateboard. If you want to donate to Mike's cause, there'll be a Patreon link down.
Patreon link. Please just send me your skateboards.
Please donate. Anything can help.
To end off today's episode, Chris, you had a question you wanted to post.
So I got to give this question some context, right? So over the New Year's period, I went up to Fraser Island. If you don't know what Fraser Island is, if you're not Australian, Fraser Island is the biggest sand island in the world. It's just a giant beach off the coast of Queensland. And as we were sitting on this beach, a friend of mine and I were just talking about life and all things under the sun. And he turns to me and asks, man, if you could travel anywhere in space and time, where would you go? And the main thing was, if you could communicate with anybody in any part of space and time, who would you go to, or who would you talk to? What would you talk to? And what is your reasoning behind that? That question threw me for a loop, so I thought I'd pose it to you, Mike. So if you could travel, you have this interdimensional travel device.
If I had a TARDIS.
If you had a TARDIS. Exactly. It's basically like, if you had a TARDIS.
Yeah. Where would you go?
You could go anywhere, have a conversation with anyone, anything. Who or what would it be?
I feel like I would go see something that could never be seen by anyone else without the ability of, say, a TARDIS. I would go see something like a collapsing star that's about to go supernova and just watch it go supernova within the safety of my TARDIS.
Yeah.
And
obviously within the safety of the TARDIS.
Yeah. And I don't know, I would probably want to see something like that.
Would you want to have a conversation with some interstellar being? Like if aliens did exist, would you want to be able to communicate with them?
No.
No?
I would probably talk to... I don't know.
See, yeah, it was hard for me to answer this as well.
I don't know who I'd talk to. Maybe have some kind of... I don't know, maybe someone from the past with like some philosopher from the past. Bring them to watch it, converse, put them back, and see what happens.
Or bring them to watch the star collapse with you.
Yeah.
And then take them back to their own
I feel
time
like
and place.
Seeing that, it'd probably break your mind. But
I mean, it definitely would if you're talking like ancient Greek philosophers. It'll break their mind as soon as you fucking
my
show
mind
off.
too. You know what I mean? Just looking into that collapsing star.
Standing next to Plato in a TARDIS.
Yeah, exactly.
Watching a star collapse
Plato,
on itself.
Come here. Watch this.
Come here, bro.
What do you think?
I mean,
and he'd probably just...
He'd be
I don't
speechless. I hope he would be speechless.
I would be speechless too, seeing it, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to say. I'd just watch it. It'd be more bringing someone... Who would I bring to watch it, maybe?
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, that wasn't the question.
No, I know, but that's the answer I'm giving.
Okay, I mean, fair enough.
I don't know what I'd... Like, in that instance of what I would be watching, or seeing or doing,
yeah,
I feel like there would be no words.
Yeah, well, definitely. If you're watching like a collapsing star.
Watching something go supernova.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would definitely be an interesting thing.
What about you?
The thing, what I came up with is I would really like to go back to the start of everything.
Watch the Big Bang.
Just to experience what actually happened. Because nobody actually knows. It could be the Big Bang, could be God opening his mouth and letting out light. You know, that could be the Big Bang. I want to see what the fuck actually happened there.
Yeah.
So I can come back with answers and go, no, this is how the universe started.
Would you come back with proof? Would you come back with your word?
I would try to come back with proof. Because obviously I wouldn't want to just be some raving lunatic.
This guy just shows up in a TARDIS and starts talking about the Big Bang, man.
I thought it started the universe, man. It was so weird.
Okay, Trump, calm down.
I can imagine just being labeled as that guy.
You'd be crazy, straight up.
So yeah, I think I'd go back to the start of the universe. And if there is an intelligent being that had created all of this, then I would want to talk to them. Because I want to understand their...
you think going to the start of the universe, there might be something there creating it?
Well, I don't know. That's why I want to go there.
Well, haven't they discovered the echo of the Big Bang? And they've kind of proven the Big Bang anyway.
It's like background radiation from the Big Bang is still there. It's still very faint, but it's still there. We can still pick it up.
Wasn't there a theory that it was dark matter colliding with matter itself, and it caused a reaction and an explosion, which then created matter that we have now, which then formed into stars over billions of years, and then they would explode, and then they would and then then the dust from those explosions would then cause elements that then would form moons, and then they would collapse and then create planets, and then you know what I mean?
And to be honest, I think that's probably the most solid theory that we have going around. But at the end of the day,
who knows?
It's a theory.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with theories.
Yeah,
it's not.
So I'd want to know for sure, because it's questions like that have puzzled humanity for so long. And I feel like if we had the answers to that, if we had a deeper understanding of...
Do you think we'd be better off?
I don't think we'd be better off. We'd just have more knowledge. Yeah. But that's what I would want to provide to humanity, is just more knowledge.
The sad thing that I think is that I kind of envy people who have deep faith and beliefs that they think that they're going to go somewhere better after this.
Yeah.
Because I don't have that belief.
Me neither.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
So I don't sleep at night thinking, it's okay, I'm going to go somewhere better if I die.
God,
now I'm like, well, when I die, where am I going to go, or what's going to happen? I have to come up with my own thought of what settles for me.
There could also just be nothing. It could just be we die and that's it.
Yeah, I know. Like, that's what scares a lot of people. Yeah. So if you were to then disprove all religions, say you go to the Big Bang, there is nothing there but the colliding of, atoms in space, then all religion is disproved. All those people with those faiths would then not know what to or who to turn to. Their entire lives would be destroyed because a lot of people build their lives around their beliefs.
This is true. And to be honest, I wouldn't set out with the idea of I'm going to destroy people's lives.
No, obviously not.
Be great. I just want to know the truth.
Yeah. But then do you think that knowing the truth is then something that you should then keep to yourself? Because then...
Yeah, that it kind of depends on what the truth I find there is. Like, if there is some sort of...
There's some omnipotent being, then maybe it is good to tell everyone about it.
Maybe
you know what I mean?
Hey, guys, God is fucking real.
God is real.
Holy
Y'all need
shit.
to believe in Jesus.
Yeah. You guys need to start praying right fucking now.
Yeah. I'm already there.
I've already got my soul saved.
God said you're cool, man. I was like, cool.
You come back and it's like, guys, the Jews were right.
Yeah, sorry.
That's classic Rowan Atkinson sketch for you.
I feel like having the knowledge of the universe is something that would destroy a lot of people on this planet and would then lead to rioting, wars, suicide.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's the truth. I said it before. Facts don't care about your feelings.
That's true. But
if
do you care about their feelings? It's not a question about the fact, is whether or not it should be said.
Yeah. And you bring up a good question. And to be honest, I think I would want to share whatever fact I find there. Whatever facts I find there, I would want to share them, but I don't know if governing bodies or media sources or anything like that would want to hear me out because I don't think they want to change the status quo. You would need
proof. Yeah,
I would need a lot of proof.
You would need solid proof.
I would need a lot of solid proof.
Like, you can just show them a photo of you taking a selfie with God. You know what I mean? Like,
just that's just some old white guy.
Photoshop. You know what I mean?
It's all Photoshop, man. That's all anything is nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's all fake.
Yeah, like how people believe the moon landing is still fake. No. You know what I mean? Like, let's
people
be
think Tupac's still alive.
Yeah, come on, you're crazy.
Come on, guys.
That's not religional beliefs. That's just lunacy.
Yeah, that's just silly.
On that note, I think we'll end this episode. What do you guys think? Where would you go? Who would you talk to?
Let us know in the comments. Machine, what's the go? What would you do?
Would you meet the doctor? Did you steal his TARDIS?
Yeah.
Tell us.
tell us if you stole his keys, because I think he wants it back.
No, I want them.
I want the TARDIS. Give me the TARDIS.
It's like just quickly how some people will. I think we've done this in the past where we make an agreement. If you were to discover time travel, then you would come back to this time at this date.
I remember us talking about that.
Yeah. So Thursday, the 7th of January, 2021 at 9:32 p.m. Yeah, where we live right now. I will not disclose the exact location.
We're not going to disclose
that.
But future selves,
us, please.
You know where we were.
Let us know.
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
You can let me know by knocking over something outside. Just not my plants, please.
Yeah, not the plants.
If you knock them over, I will be slapping myself in the face. If that's you, Michael, in the future that's done this to me. How dare you?
And future Chris, if you do want to end up knocking over some of Mike's pot plants, blame future Mike on it.
I mean, past Chris, which is present Chris now, did that today anyway, so...
Yeah, that's true, I did.
So it's already happened.
I was sorry. I said sorry.
Like I said, don't be sorry unless it dies.
Yeah, true.
All right.
I'll just have to go out there, water it, and pray over it every day now. Don't die.
Go prove God exists first, then go pray.
Damn it. Don't have a TARDIS.
Go ask the TARDIS. Yeah.
All right. So on that note, let's actually end the show.
So like we said, smack that like button.
Smack the like button. Smack the subscribe button if you haven't already.
Hit us in the comments about your TARDIS travels.
Yeah, where would you go? Who would you talk to? Or what would you talk to? Because not everybody is a who. Sometimes it's a what.
Yeah. Okay.
New episodes every Thursday. No matter what time, every Thursday.
No matter what
Still every Thursday.
Even if it's 11:59, it's still Thursday.
It's still Thursday. It's still
we got you every Thursday. Come and listen to us. And we will see you next week. Adios.